Welcome to another episode of Steam Deck Before You Buy, where we'll be looking at FIFA 23. This video is a bit different from my normal Before You Buy videos, but I felt I needed to make a video about FIFA 23 and share my experience with the game, as it was easily the worst and most frustrating process I've ever faced on the Steam Deck yet. So let's see why. First off, FIFA 23 on the Steam Deck is unsupported and is flat out unplayable on SteamOS due to EA's new Easy Anti-Cheat software. There is no way around the Easy Anti-Cheat software on SteamOS, with the only solution to install Windows on the Steam Deck. If you're anything like me, one of the main reasons I bought a Steam Deck was to be able to play a full FIFA game portably. EA couldn't have made a worse move in my opinion, saying FIFA 22 ran perfectly on the deck, getting everyone excited for the next gen version on PC, in which everyone was expecting to run the same as 22 on the deck. I never intended to ever install Windows on the Steam Deck because SteamOS has been excellent, but it was the only way I could get FIFA 23 on the Steam Deck to work, so I went for it. I decided to install Windows 10 on a microSD card as I didn't want to mess with the internal storage of my Steam Deck, and this appeared to be the more straightforward process with less risk. I'd seen other videos of other people on YouTube playing FIFA 23 on the microSD card and it looked solid. In preparation for installing Windows, I purchased a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, a SanDisk Extreme microSD card, a USB SD card reader, a USB-C hub, and a Steam Deck dock. Straight from the start, I ran into problems which should have been a red flag. I already had my Windows 10 ISO, which I created from the Windows Media Creation tool. I was trying to create a bootable USB using Rufus and the Windows 10 ISO by selecting the Windows to Go option, but I kept getting an error message saying ISO image scan failure. I thought it must have been my ISO image being corrupt, so I created the ISO like another 10 times and still had the same issue. I finally gave up and tried another application called Hasleo Win2USB, which also has a Windows to Go option, which worked perfectly. I finally installed Windows on my SD card, which was painfully slow and frustrating, but nevertheless it was working. I downloaded and installed all the drivers and downloaded Steam and Origin and bought FIFA 23 from the Steam store. After about 3 hours of downloading, FIFA 23 was finally ready to play. Booting into the game, I received another error message from the anti-cheat. I done a bit of googling and found out I needed to download the EA Easy Anti-Cheat installer from EA's website, uninstall the software and reinstall it, and this seemed to work, but this wasn't the end of my problems. I finally got the game to work, but whenever I tried to start a match, it crashed every single time. I watched a few more YouTube videos messing around with the read and write permissions on the FIFA files to try to fix the issue, but it still was happening. As a last resort, I uninstalled the game and spent another 3 hours downloading it to another location, but it also didn't work. At this point, I was defeated and was very close to giving up until I decided to try again, but this time use a dual boot method to install Windows on the SSD. I have linked the video in the description if you want to follow this method. Big shout out to JD Ross for his fantastic work with this video, as it was very easy to follow and very detailed. JD's video worked perfectly and Windows was finally installed on the SSD. It was so responsive and FIFA installed with no problems at all. Before running FIFA 23, I will share with you the settings and methods I used to get the game running as best as possible. First, we need to change the UMA frame buffer time to 4 gig, holding down the plus button and then hitting the power button to access the menu. Select Setup Utility, select the Advanced tab and scroll down to the UMA frame buffer size and change it from 1 gig to 4 gig. And save the change. Back in Windows, we're going to change the power plan to performance by searching power plans in the search bar. Select additional power plan options and create a power plan and select high performance, then hit next and create. Next is the in-game FIFA settings. Scroll over to the settings tab and select game settings and display configuration. Set the render quality to high. Keep off dynamic resolution and strand best hair. In my opinion, setting the frame time to no limit works best, as when it's set to 60, when the dips happen, it causes stutter and choppiness. The first thing you need to know about FIFA 23 is that it's horribly optimized for PC. Looking at the game on the high settings, straight away you'll notice that the large dips in the frames and cutscenes. But just to be clear, this is not due to the Steam Deck's power or performance, it's due to this game being badly optimized on PC and it's affecting all players. I have seen lots of videos and complaints about the frame rate tanking, especially in cutscenes, even with players playing on top end hardware, so this issue lies with EA. Looking at the frame rates and the game, it does have some serious drops as low as 10-11 frames, but again, this is mainly in the cutscenes. It's a bit hard to make out the FPS counter on the top left, but in open play the game runs very well and usually holds over that 60 frames per second. I must admit, when the game is running smooth, it is a good experience. The game looks visually impressive on the Steam Deck, but it is the unoptimization and the inconsistency in the frames that let it down. This issue is exactly the same on the low settings. Given what you just seen, I suggest stay well clear of FIFA 23 on the Steam Deck. I feel installing Windows on the deck is off-putting to a lot of players and can be a very frustrating and tedious process. Even if you got Windows up and running, FIFA 23 is an unoptimized mess on PC and not worth paying full price for the game in its current state. If you do decide to install Windows on the Steam Deck, my advice is to go with the SSD method if you have the free space, as it's far more reliable and overall a better experience. Let's see if EA decide to patch this game, but until then, do not waste your money. Hope this video was helpful guys, and thank you for watching, and catch you in the next video.